work together. Cooperate. You help me, I help you. Body release it. Very well. If this is what is required, we concur.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Platinum review for the first Berserker Khazan. Before we begin, let me assure you that there will be no spoilers in this video, because everything you see on the screen will be from the first 3 or 4 levels of the game, and I'm going to showcase some late gameplay with normal enemies to show you all the late skills that Khazan gets. I will focus on highlighting some boss fights, but all of these are early enemies and stages that you can play in the demo as well. With that out of the way, let's begin with the review. The first Berserker Khazan is the latest to grace the ever-growing Souls-like genre. It derives a lot of inspiration from games like Dark Souls, Sekiro and Neo, and it does a pretty good job in implementing these mechanics and also adding to them to keep things fresh and interesting. Personally, Khazan has been one of the happy surprises this year, and I ended up enjoying it a lot. Being a new game from a fresh developer, my expectations for this game were not very high, but I was impressed with the gameplay trailers and the demo helped a lot in building the hype for this game. But looking back at it, I can say that almost all my expectations have been generously exceeded. Let's dive into that. Let's start with the performance and presentation. One of the very smart things the devs have done for Khazan is that they have gone for a completely different art style, which gives the game a unique cel-shaded almost anime type look, and that works for the performance as well, because both the characters and the environments look great and performance is not hampered much for that either. I played this game at a stable 60 FPS and did not encounter any bugs in my second run. I did encounter my fair share in the first playthrough because at launch the game was in a messy state, but most of these issues have been fixed and updated now. As for the story, you play as Khazan and the story starts as a dark and gloomy revenge tale that goes through its twists and turns to become a darker and gloomier revenge tale. Most of the plot twists are expected, but some did surprise me. However, they end up mattering very little in the end because of how the story is structured. Every level, the story is mainly about the boss you are fighting at the end, and apart from a few journals here or there, which you will not be interested in going through at all, you have zero interactions with those characters. Any and all exposition you are gonna get is in a short cutscene before the boss fight, and before it has any chance of sinking its teeth in you, you are off to fight the next boss. Another gripe for me is that Khazan himself does not talk too much, and is simply there to look angry and kill people. And he kills a lot of people. If you like spilling blood, you will split bucket loads of blood in this game. But all of this I can easily put aside because we are not here for the story anyways. But I must mention that the whole story is about Khazan and the final boss of the game, and you have zero one-on-one interactions with him, which I think is a missed opportunity because that would have really helped flesh out both these characters. You do see this guy in a few cutscenes, but Khazan and him do not talk till the final boss fight. I'm saying all this because I think the final boss is good and has a really good story arc that should have been fleshed out more. You also get some nice hand-drawn cutscenes between main missions, and while they look good, they lost their appeal for me about halfway through the game and I was ready to skip them. Now let's talk gameplay, and this is where Khazan really shines. As mentioned before, there are a lot of enemies from other Souls-like games here and almost all of them are well utilized. You have your normal blocks and dodges, but if you time it right, you can bring dodge or bring guard and prevent your stamina from going down. There is stamina management in every fight, so you have to make sure you don't run out of it, because if you do, you take additional damage from the next hit. You have to manage your stats depending on your build, and there is a ton of loot you have to go through after every mission to make sure you have the best equipment. All these mechanics are here to make sure the game appeals to you no matter what type of player you are. And to top it all off are the skills and brutal kills. Khazan has mad skills that are super satisfying to pull off and chain together, and the brutal kills will leave you grinning. At its core, Khazan is more aggressive style game where the goal is to get your enemy's stamina or fury meter down to punish them heavily while maintaining yours. While there are gear drops aplenty, there are only 3 weapons and you can only equip one of them at a time. But there is a special weightage given to each weapon because the weapon that you go for is the one your build will be designed around. You have great swords, dual wield and spear. I personally found the spear to work best for me for 2 reasons. First is that you get the moonlight stance very early that gives you enhanced moves and combos, and second because of its range. Because in Khazan I found out that most of the time it's about getting close to the enemy to hit them, and while dual wields do more damage, the range you sacrifice for them did not appeal to me. And the greatsword I think needs more work because it feels especially slow, and even then I think it does the least damage overall. There are a lot of unique armor sets to complement your weapon of choice, and as I said, every weapon has its own skill tree that you can develop based on your choice. As for the fights, they are always fun when one-on-one but get a bit too hectic with more than 2 enemies, especially in the beginning where you are underleveled and don't have a lot of skills unlocked. You can also unlock some permanent buffs by finding soul stones and some really funny but very effective equipment by finding jarlings and other collectibles around the map. You can also craft gear or level up or augment the gear of your choice with money and lacrima, which is the soul currency of the game that you use for leveling up as well. There is also a phantom form that you unlock like Dante's Devil Trigger, but I found it to be underwhelming and I don't think it does the amount of damage I wanted to. Then there are the usual offensive and defensive equipment that you can use to exploit the enemy's weaknesses. As I said, the game has too much, and while right now it feels like an info dump, all these systems and mechanics gel well with each other and you don't feel overwhelmed in practice. As for the moment to moment gameplay, it is always cool to fight because you are pulling off some sick combos and dispatching all types of foes, but there are some unfair difficulty spikes in terms of boss battles, and I think both the boss variety and enemy variety is quite slim overall. You have your 16 main missions and each mission has a unique boss you fight. And apart from 1 or 2 of them, all of them are in the good boss design category. Apart from the main mission, you have bonus missions where you are simply fighting the recycled version of a boss or a buffed up version of a simple enemy. There are some elite enemies in the game as well, but they are again upgraded versions of the same enemies you fight throughout the levels. While I don't have much against the enemies and bosses that are there, I wish there was more. Also, the recycling of set bosses and enemies is inconsistent, where I believe the bad ones are the ones you fight multiple times and the good ones you fight just once. But they have added a boss rush mode so you can freely scratch that itch whenever you so desire. As for the level design, I feel the same way. Most of the levels feel same, but there are some unique ones that do stand out. Trekking through an underground laboratory filled with demons and mutated creatures was my highlight of the game, and I wish they explored similar levels more. Finding collectibles and secrets is fun at the start but gets tedious halfway through the game due to lack of innovation. And yes, there are illusionary walls so you can laugh or cry about it depending on how you feel about them. And lastly, they have added the new female version of Khazan, which I also have tried out, but I don't think it does anything new to the game apart from letting you play as another character. Now, with all that said, let's talk about the platinum of this game. The trophies of this game are easy to understand but tough to unlock. There was a tracking problem with the game at the launch, but it has been fixed since then. The game has a lot of different types of collectibles and you have to find all of them. You have to complete every bonus mission in the game, and I suggest you do so because the way the game works is you complete a main mission and then you get a few bonus missions. I would suggest you do them right away because they unlock your blacksmiths or gear upgrade techniques that go a long way in helping you out, and also you gain some levels from that help you prepare for the next boss. The game is designed in a way that you are almost always under leveled for the next boss, so it is better to do a couple of bonus missions multiple times to avoid level grind later. Because this game does not offer much in the way of level grinds till almost the end game, and it matters very little at that point anyway. Be sure to collect all the soul stones and jarlings, and you also have to get every golden collectible to unlock the main ending. And you also have to make a choice in the last mission, so make sure you get it. I want to avoid spoilers, so make sure when you speak to Defrona in the final mission, you have to choose I must know the truth. It is a time choice, so don't sit there googling it when she asks you, and be safe to create a backup save before the final chapter. There is also a difficulty specific trophy where you have to beat the game on normal, so I suggest playing on normal anyway because easy mode is not easy, and if you are going to invest the efforts to get better there, invest it in normal mode to save the rerun. All other trophies should unlock naturally except one tricky one where you have to beat every boss solo. There are spirits of advocacy you can summon to help with the boss fights, and to get the trophy, you cannot summon a spirit even once. It does not matter if you beat the boss solo later, you cannot summon a spirit of advocacy at all or it will void the trophy. Thankfully, there was a glitch in the game that gave me the trophy for just killing the final boss solo and restarting my game, but there is a chance it is fixed now. maybe check the patch notes for the latest update to make sure about that. And yes, there is a complete walkthrough for the first Berserker Khazan available on the channel, as well as solo guides for all the boss fights. So you can check them to get the platinum in a single run. I also highlight what skills and gear you should focus on. Well, that is all I have to say about the game for now. I believe I have conveyed everything I want to convey. I have left out a few things like the codex entries, breakable weak points and skill settings, but that is because I want you to find it out yourself. One thing I will say is that from start be sure to invest some skills in the counter attack tree and always max out the light attack skill tree of any weapon that you are using. You can ignore the blade fed upgrades as they don't really matter much. With all that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to the scores. As a game, I would like to give the first Berserker Khazan an 8 out of 10. This is a well-rounded action RPG and it has received a lot of quality of life improvements since launch. With a dedicated developer team that is listening to the community, it is bound to get better with time. If you are looking for some good action gameplay with mad skills, then this is your game, and it is also a good entry point into the DNF universe, which has its own community and following. But lack of anime variety and simplistic level design keep Khazan from reaching the greatness the great general is supposed to have. As for now, as a platinum experience, I would like to give the first Berserker Khazan a 7 out of 10. This is an easier platinum than Sekiro and a tougher platinum than Elden Ring. So if you enjoy Elden Ring but are looking for something challenging, then you should go for it. The gameplay is the major point supporting your experience, and experimenting with build and skill loadouts will keep the overall game fun for you while going for its slightly convoluted plot that sometimes unlocks trophies when you don't meet the requirements and sometimes does not even when you have done the required tasks multiple times. The game still has a couple of bugs, so let's hope everything is ironed out soon. So there you have it folks, the platinum review for the first Berserker Khazan. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. And as always, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe, stay healthy and stay busy playing some good games. This is your friend Galactus signing off.